racist black women, Paige reminds me a lot of you. Like, you say you're not really about me. And she knows how her privilege has gotten her to that point. And also, like, she's good at basketball, obviously. But, like, she understands her privilege and like, pushes her over the top, in a sense. It reminds me a lot of you. And I mean, that's a compliment.
jaWilson, the current Wnba MVP, has faced a lifetime suspension after trying to frame herself as a victim, despite her position of privilege. In a recent viral clip, she pointed her finger at Caitlin Clark, expressing that players like Paige Beckers should be more aware of their own privilege. But really, is this the right message? It seems like she's more focused on making excuses rather than leading in anything else.
I probably tend to think it wasn't even on accident. Knew she was being recorded, knew it would get out there.
It takes some nerve to live a life of luxury and then criticize other players for their supposed privileges, doesn't it, Aja? Caitlin Clark is out there earning her spot, breaking records, and carrying the league while you seem to be sitting comfortably, acting like you're the victim. Playing the oppression card in this situation just feels out of touch. Maybe it's time to step down from that pedestal and focus on competing before casting blame on others.
And then I don't think it helps being a 5'8" white girl coming into the league with 85% black women that want to take your head off. Like, just straight up, right? Like, that's just what it is.
Let's take a closer look at this situation. jaWilson wants people to believe she's fighting against a system of oppression. But let's be honest, she attended a private school with a $20,000 price tag, enjoying all the comforts and privileges that come with that. Meanwhile, players like Caitlin Clark and Kelsey Plum were out there hustling hard to reach the top. Aja's story isn't one of overcoming hardship. It's the picture of privilege with a stable family and every resource available to her. It's hard to take claims of struggle seriously in this context.
The sense of entitlement and the sour, bad, nasty attitudes that many of these players are exhibiting, I think exactly is one of the reasons why for the past 20 some odd years nobody has cared about this league, why there is certainly an antipathy towards it.
jaWilson talks about privilege like she's the authority on hardship. But let's be real, Aja. While you had every opportunity handed to you on a silver platter, players like Caitlin Clark and Kelsey Plum were out there proving themselves, working hard with no red carpet laid out for them. If privilege means having access to the best trainers, schools, and a clear path to success, then maybe it's time to take a closer look at your own story.
But to me, it was a message being sent to Caitlin Clark.
Instead, Aja continues to stand there wrapped in this cloak of victimhood, as if that's going to earn her any sympathy. The hypocrisy is hard to ignore. She's out here saying white players don't understand privilege, yet she benefits from her own kind of privilege every day. Before pointing fingers at others, maybe it's time to reflect on how you got to where you are.
Many of you were the very same ones that was pointing the finger and saying you're racist and we don't want or need your support. So in theory, you're getting what you want and you should be happy for the lower ratings. So be careful what you wish.
The reality is players like Caitlin Clark and Kelsey Plum didn't make it into the league by riding the wave of their skin color. They worked hard for every bit of success. But I guess recognizing their efforts doesn't fit into Aja's victim narrative, does it? And speaking of calling her out, Jason Whitlock didn't hold back in his critique of jaWilson. When it comes to tearing apart her comments on white privilege, he hit every point. This is coming from someone who's probably never had to deal with real struggles like sharing a locker room with a broken heater, yet she's out here trying to lecture everyone else on hardship. The irony is just hard to ignore.
And then I don't think it helps being a 5'8" white girl coming into the league with 85% black women that want to take your head off. Like, just straight up, right? Like, that's just what it is.
Whitlock was spot on when he highlighted how jaWilson lives in her own world of privilege, yet still has the nerve to complain about it. How can she even say that with a straight face? And to top off the whole act, there's the Nike deal. This is where the real irony comes in. After all her comments about Caitlin Clark and white privilege, Nike gives Aja her own signature shoe deal. Wait, what? So, let me get this straight. She calls out Clark, stirs up racial controversy, spins the story like a tabloid, and suddenly she's being treated like royalty by Nike.
jaWilson has a signature shoe and logo with Nike. No one's going to buy her shoe. No one cares. But Nike's bending over backwards trying to please jaWilson and Don Staley and the whole BLM crowd We got to promote Asia first. And so there's a mindset that Asia has to adopt to justify getting treatment she knows she doesn't deserve.
Nike must have been out of their minds when they decided to prioritize jaWilson over Caitlin Clark. It's like betting everything on a snail to win the Kentucky Derby. Who thought it was a great idea to hand over a multi-million-dollar shoe deal to someone who barely generates any buzz. Aja, bless your heart, but let's be honest. No one's rushing to buy sneakers with your name on them. The whole situation is just laughable.
And I'm going to mention this again. One of the more interesting aspects of this fanhood is that some of the biggest supporters of Caitlin Clark are not whites. They're actually black males. So that has become something that for them, that word, problematic. And it's also set up a cultural debate.
Nike, you've had a golden opportunity to cash in with Caitlin Clark, the true superstar who's captivating the world. But instead, you chose to back someone stuck in a victim narrative. Caitlin is literally carrying the WNBA with her record-breaking performances, draining threes from half court like they're nothing. While jaWilson is busy complaining about white privilege and twisting the narrative to suit her agenda. Caitlin's rewriting the script. She's not just surviving, she's thriving.
When the Caitlin Clark shoe, whenever that is released, comes out, they ought to call it the air suppression. Because basically, they are marketing jaWilson by suppressing anything having to do with the most popular player in the league by far.
Fans, including a massive following of black supporters, recognize her as the game-changing phenomenon she is. Meanwhile, Aja's grasping for relevance, using tired excuses while Caitlin keeps pushing the boundaries of what's possible in women's basketball. It's almost comical to watch. Aja, every time you try to tear down Caitlin, you just make yourself look smaller. Caitlin's legacy is already sealed, and kids are going to look up to her as the one who made them tune in. Nike, you backed the wrong player. While you're busy trying to sell Aja's shoes, thinking she's the next big thing, Caitlin is out here breaking records and proving herself as the real deal. Aja's victim complex is crumbling along with her relevance, and if irony were a sport, she'd be MVP.
Doesn't drive TV ratings. That's not what he does. That's who jaWilson is. But she has to adopt this mindset of, I'm owed this, and you white girls need to back your ass up while I get what's owed to me. It's all just it's endless reparation. Give me things I don't deserve, and white girl, you take a backseat to me.
But in the real world, Caitlin's the one making history. Nike is so focused on making jaWilson the face of the WNBA that they're overlooking the real star of the league, Caitlin Clark. Maybe Nike missed the memo, but fans want to see genuine talent, not drama. This isn't just a marketing misstep, it's downright embarrassing. The gap between Aja's self-proclaimed struggles and Caitlin's incredible performances is staggering. But keep pushing that narrative, Aja, because it's clearly benefiting everyone but you. While Aja is busy stirring up controversy to stay relevant, Caitlin Clark is breaking records and making history, drawing in viewership numbers that Aja can only dream of.
They're not about business. They're not about growing the WNBA. They're about diversity, equity, and inclusion. This is insanity, what they're doing to Caitlin.
This is unbelievable. Nike has paused all Caitlin Clark promotions indefinitely, effectively sidelining her over Wilson's complaints.
He lucked into the marketing chance of a generation, and they're using that to advertise old product. Why is it happening this way? Now here's the money. Based on conversations with people in the know, it indeed has something to do with the WNBA MVP and Nike athlete, jaWilson. Aja will be
spot on. jaWilson is now getting all the promotion from Nike, while Caitlin Clark is left in the dark. After Wilson's MVP win, Nike chose not to back Clark amid the ongoing controversy.
Wilson, 28 years old, 1,000 points in the regular season. Why is that not the biggest story out at the moment? Why are we talking about Caitlin Clark?
Why when Aja was releasing a shoe were we talking about Caitlin?
Nike thinks jaWilson will stir up less controversy, despite the fact it's obvious she won't generate the same sales as Caitlin Clark.
First NBA playoffs, first NBA season, and she's wearing Kobe Bryant shoes. They don't even have a shoe for her. And it may not be till 2026, 2027. Nike was nimble enough and had enough vision to see that, hey, let's get LeBron's shoe out here. This guy's going to be a big deal. They can't do this for...
This deal was supposed to be a game changer for Clark, but backlash from analysts and fans pushed her to the sidelines. It's almost like Nike isn't interested in making money this year.
Clark's gonna help it change for the better. All of a sudden, we gonna see Wilson. She may get some more shine because she's that girl. Diana Taurasi gonna get more shine because we know what she brings to the table. Ionescu, she's gonna get more shine. Others, black, white, everything in between. It's about the ladies, now more so than ever before.
jaWilson's complaints have catapulted her to the top at Nike. She's now being promoted everywhere, with rumors swirling that she might even get her own signature shoe.